Does your child swing from giggles to sobs or rage within seconds? I'll explain why big emotions can overwhelm the nervous system and, of course, what to do about it. So, I hear from parents every single day, why can't my child calm down? Why do they always react to everything? Well, you're not alone if you feel the same way because it is an increasingly common issue. Emotional dysregulation stems from poor stress tolerance. We're going to talk about what it is and, of course, what to do about it. Emotional dysregulation is that inability to handle different types of emotions and return to calm from any stressor, whether it's real or perceived. And I think that's hard for parents to get because we think, what's the stressor? Well, our nervous system determines what's a stressor. And when your child's nervous system is activated, we'll talk about that, they can be very overreactive to things. Your nervous system is your child's emotional brake system. And when it's malfunctioning, your child's emotions become escalated quickly and stays escalated can lead to meltdowns or shutdowns. When we think about real life examples, your kid dropped a crayon and it's a full emotional meltdown, or a sibling takes a toy and it's a rage outburst, or you ask your teenager to put their plate away and they tell you to F off and put a hole in the wall. These kinds of very dramatic examples, yeah, some kids do them. Maybe they were sick and you didn't know it, and it occurs on occasion. But when your child, that's their go to responses for stressors, they are struggling with emotional dysregulation and it should never be ignored. How does it differ from normal tantrums or moodiness, right? So, a normal tantrum is short and intense, and your child can self soothe and get back, even if they need your help. It's not something that happens all the time. It doesn't happen every time something little, it's just a tantrum, and kids go through them and they're normal. Dysregulated kid, it's much more extreme, regular, prolonged, and they can't return to a regulated state without adult help. That is a big distinguisher for a child who really struggles. Their emotions seem disproportionate to whatever the situation is. And the parents are wondering, why does this kid feel like this one thing, it's the end of the world? Because for their nervous system, it is. I hope that's an aha moment for you. So, why does it happen, right? That nervous system gets stuck in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Once you have compounded stressors, so I'm overreacting, the nervous system moves from that nice parasympathetic relaxed state to a sympathetic dominant state. And fight is just what you think. It's hitting, yelling. Flight is running away, hiding, avoiding. Freeze is just shutting down and no response. And fawn, you may think is cool because it's over pleasing and avoiding trouble. And some parents, parent their kids with such extreme discipline. I mean, I recently had somebody where their kid had to write something like 100 times. I was like, "What is this, Bart Simpson?" It didn't work for him. I was like, "What's the lesson?" I believe in natural consequences. When the brain overreacts to stress, it floods the body with cortisol. The person stays in that activated state. The frontal lobes, your braking system shuts down, and they just don't have logic working for them, and they're not going to be thinking through, and their emotional brakes are offline. So you just see this pattern of reactivity. And when it comes to the nervous system, the more you react, right? The more you regulate, the more you regulate. So there's always a positive. And I just want to talk about a common parent misunderstanding that instead of perceiving your child as being dramatic, just start thinking, wow, their nervous system can't regulate. Just that one shift helps you in our comms. The A is avoiding personalizing. When you start not personalizing the behavior, you start regulating. Dysregulation is not poor parenting unless you're a very dysregulated parent. If you're a very dysregulated parent, Get it together, okay? And get some help. I mean, we all got trauma, but don't live in it. I mean, that's just people say that all the time, you know? Dysregulation isn't poor parenting generally. It's not manipulation. It's not bad behavior or being bratty. It's a nervous system regulation problem because they're activated, stuck, logic is not happening. That means learning is not. We know what the real impact is, right? You can have see behaviors like school refusal, right? Because they can't tolerate stress or unpredictability. So they start refusing to go to school, especially as school starts ramping up and the workload, right? You can see a lot of homework battles, they shut down or explode over small things. You can see mealtime meltdown, social withdrawal, avoiding things, and difficulties at any transition. Transitions are hard for kids that easily dysregulated because you have to get them to move from maybe something they've taken time to adjust to or a preferred activity to something else. And when you're in an activated state, every little shift can cause an activation. And so if your cup is full, fight, flight, or freeze, you're just going to do more of that, right? And these kinds of kids with emotional dysregulation, they're often labeled as oppositional defiant. Say this all the time. To me, oppositional defiant is a behavior. I don't even know why it's a clinical diagnosis. There's not a brain pattern that shows itself as ODD. It is a behavior that comes along with other clinical issues, could be trauma. They often get diagnosed with ADHD. Everybody gets diagnosed with ADHD, like before they get diagnosed with the real thing. It can be a behavioral problem. I mean, there are a lot of reasons why that this could be a misdiagnosis or a part of why this happens. You know, I'm always the purveyor of hope, and I want you to know that I work with such extreme cases. And if you want to work with me, you can go to drroseann.com/help and take our solution matcher. And there's lots of solutions. And it's really there to take you from being unsure to really what is my path, because gosh, we have a terrible mental health system and parents are just left to their own devices. It's like we drop you off in the woods and it's like, hey, figure it out. And that's what happens with parenting. And so many kids are dysregulated for so many reasons. And I just want to reassure you that the strategies that I talk about on the show, in my website, in my solution matcher, they work when you use them. And that's why, you know, my comms protocol is a very simple breakdown of how to shift your parenting to help kids regulate. Because when you regulate, first of all, everybody gets relief in the home, but your kid really can shine and there's no potential that they can't reach when you're regulating. Regulation must come before discipline or teaching. This is not negotiable. This is how the brain works. You can wish it, you can want it, you can say, well, the sibling did it. Well, this is your kid and this is what it is. If you're ever walking away and you're thinking, gosh, what's going on? Why is this happening? I hope you're getting clarity today because your kid isn't giving you a hard time when they're dysregulated. They are having a hard time. That is how you need to shift so that it's easier to teach your child, and it's so important to regulate yourself, and that your child isn't trying to test you. Their nervous system is crying out for help, and you have every ability to regulate with them and for them because you are their emotional anchor. And that's why calming the nervous system is so important, right? And I want you to think about, you know, a recent moment where you couldn't regulate. And instead of thinking of it as defiance, start looking for those clues, right? And even this week, just take your phone out, grab a piece of paper, whatever you got, and start writing down, when did your child dysregulate? I'll be talking so much more about this when my book comes out in 2026. It's going to really be the path for this. But for now, make sure to subscribe, share, help another mother or dad out, caregiver, grandparent, because this is what I do. And I'm so grateful for all of you who are here, who are rethinking parenting. Instead of seeing those behaviors as defiance, you're starting to understand dysregulation. And when you do that, that's when we start really helping these kids thrive.